Love doesn't make the world go round. Love is what makes the ride worthwhile. Franklin Pete Jones. This person fell in love with you, even with the age difference. And right now, God wants you to hear this. Take a moment. Sit down. Let your shoulders drop. Breathe in slowly and breathe out. You didn't land on this message by coincidence. Not today. Not at this exact time. God has a way of tapping our heart when we're thinking too much, when we're doubting, when we're quietly asking, is this real? Is this for me? Life can be unexpected, especially in love. Sometimes we don't fall for someone who fits the plan. We fall for someone who fits the soul. And that's where the age difference comes in. Because let's be honest, people talk. They judge. They question. They whisper things like, what will others think? How long will it last? Is it even right? But here's the psychological truth. Real connection doesn't start with numbers. It starts with emotional safety. It starts with respect. It starts with the feeling of being seen, not just looked at. And yes, someone has fallen in love with you. Not because you're perfect. Not because your life is easy. But because there's something in you, your steadiness, your depth, your presence, that makes them feel calm, protected, and understood. The age difference didn't scare them away. It made them more certain. So why is God bringing this to your attention now? Because you've been carrying doubts. You've been acting strong on the outside, but inside you've wondered, am I too old for this? Am I too late? Will this end up hurting me? Listen carefully. God does not place love in your path to punish you. He places it to grow you, to heal you, to soften the parts of you that have been in survival mode for too long. This message isn't telling you to rush. It's telling you to stop running. Let love be tested by character, not by age. Let it be measured by consistency, not by opinions. Let it be guided by wisdom, not by fear. And if you needed a sign to open your heart a little, to stop shutting down, stop assuming it won't work, stop talking yourself out of joy, this is it. 1. Love that transcends numbers. There is a reason this message found you now, and you need to slow down and really hear it. Age is not just a number when you let fear speak for you. It becomes a barrier only when you agree to believe it is one. Don't do that. Don't reduce yourself to a date on a calendar. This person didn't. They didn't hesitate. They didn't measure the distance between years. They felt something real, something steady, something rare, and they leaned into it without apology. They saw what most people miss. They noticed your depth before your age. They felt your calm before your appearance. They were drawn to the way you move through life with intention, not urgency. That is attraction at its core. That is where real love advice begins. Attraction is not loud. It is reassuring. It feels safe. It feels grounded. And that is exactly why this connection surprised you. Don't ask why it happened. Ask what it's awakening in you. When God places someone in your path, He doesn't ask society for approval. He acts with purpose. Sometimes it's about healing. Sometimes it's about growth. Sometimes it's about reminding you that your heart is still very much alive. These are psychology tips most men learn too late. Emotional presence creates desire, not age, not status, not chasing. Be clear with yourself. Confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is comfort in your own skin. That is what women feel. That is what makes them stay. These dating tips are simple but powerful. Don't over-explain. Don't doubt your worth. Be steady. Be honest. Be available without being desperate. That energy alone can attract women more deeply than anything surface level ever could. Maybe you entered their life to bring clarity where there was confusion. Maybe they entered yours to bring warmth where routine had settled in. Don't ignore that. Don't talk yourself out of something meaningful just because it doesn't fit a rule you never agreed to. Love does not ask for permission. It asks for courage. This is love advice you should sit with. You don't need to be younger. You need to be real. You need to be present. Use these psychology tips to understand what's actually happening beneath the surface. Use these dating tips to lead with calm certainty. And remember this when doubt creeps in. Real attraction is not about numbers. It's about how someone feels when they are with you. And that feeling doesn't age. In The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, the love between Gatsby and Daisy is a perfect example of love that transcends numbers, as it is not bound by time or age. Gatsby, despite his past and the years that have passed since their first love, never let go of his deep affection for Daisy. He pursued her not with the urgency of chasing after a fleeting dream, but with the steady belief that he could rekindle something real. For Gatsby, love was not a matter of years, but of feeling. It was about the intense emotional connection he had with Daisy, even though time had changed both of them. Daisy, on the other hand, was drawn to Gatsby not because of his wealth or the superficialities of his life, but because of the calm certainty he exuded. It was his emotional presence that created desire in her, not his social status or age. The attraction they shared went beyond the expectations society placed on them. Gatsby's love was steady and genuine, something rare that neither he nor Daisy could simply discard. Despite the years apart, their connection felt alive and unbreakable. This relationship illustrates the essence of real love. It doesn't ask for permission or approval from society. It is not measured by the passing of time or the approval of others. It is about being present, being real, and allowing your heart to lead you where it feels drawn, regardless of age or circumstance. True love, like Gatsby's, is about how you make someone feel, not about the years that separate you. 2. Why God allowed this connection and why it's stirring something in you. Pause for a second. Be honest with yourself. You've asked for it, haven't you? Why me? Why no? Why this person? Those questions don't come from nowhere. They surface when something meaningful touches your life without asking for permission. God knows your heart, not the polished version, the private one. He knows what you've carried quietly for years, the disappointments you learned to live with, the hopes you stopped naming out loud. He heard the prayers you whispered at night when the world was asleep and you weren't sure anyone was listening. That matters. Sometimes love doesn't arrive the way we planned it. It doesn't follow our mental checklist. It doesn't ask for approval from old beliefs. Maybe you thought love would look familiar. Maybe you assumed it had to fit a certain age, a certain timeline, a certain logic. Don't rush to label this as unexpected. Look closer. This is where love psychology quietly enters the room. Real connection isn't built on numbers or categories. It's built on recognition, on that strange feeling of being seen without having to explain yourself. God's blessings rarely come wrapped the way we imagine. They arrive to stretch us, to wake us up, to invite growth we didn't know we were ready for. This person didn't fall in love with the surface of you. They noticed the cracks and didn't turn away. They sensed your caution and respected it. They saw the walls you built to survive and understood why they were there. That kind of seeing is not casual. In relationship goals, depth always matters more than convenience. It's not about perfection. It's about presence. About choosing someone as they are, not as an idea. Don't dismiss that. A modern Stoic understands something important. Life doesn't send random encounters. It sends precise moments, at the exact time you're able to receive them. Maybe this connection isn't here to disrupt your life. Maybe it's here to soften it, to study it, to remind you that your story isn't finished. Be attentive. Be grounded. Don't rush to explain this away just because it feels unfamiliar. That unfamiliar feeling, that's growth knocking. This isn't about impulse. This isn't about fantasy. This is about awareness. You must listen, not to fear, not to old rules, but to what's unfolding now. Because one day, looking back, you may realize this connection wasn't about age or timing at all. It was about alignment, healing, and love finding you when you were finally prepared to recognize it. That's love psychology in motion. That's real relationship goals. That's the quiet strength of a modern Stoic who trusts God, respects the moment, and moves forward with clarity instead of doubt. A real-life story of unexpected connection. It was the summer of 2018 in a small town in Colorado, a place known for its quiet mornings and starry nights. Sarah, a school teacher in her early 30s, had been living with a quiet yearning for connection. For years, she carried the weight of past disappointments, unspoken dreams, and fears of not being enough. She'd resigned herself to the idea that maybe love had passed her by. After all, she had waited long enough. One day, while attending a local community event, she met Michael, a man a few years older than her. He wasn't exactly her type, and at first glance, their lives seemed so different. Yet, as the conversation unfolded, something unexplainable stirred inside her. It wasn't about how Michael looked or what he did for a living. It was about the way he truly saw her. Michael noticed the small things. He could sense her hesitation, the walls she had built over the years, and instead of shying away, he respected them. He didn't rush to fill the silence with words, but simply let her be. Sarah found herself opening up, sharing parts of herself she had kept hidden for years. The connection felt raw, unspoken, and yet deep. Over time, Sarah realized this wasn't the kind of love she had planned for, nor did it follow any checklist she had in her mind. It didn't match her ideas of romance, but there was something real about it. It was a quiet, steady love, one that grew in understanding and acceptance. It wasn't about the timing, age, or perfection. It was about being seen, truly seen. Looking back, Sarah understood that this connection wasn't random. It was God's way of reminding her that her story wasn't over. She had finally been prepared to receive the love she had quietly prayed for all those years. And as her heart slowly healed, she recognized that sometimes the most meaningful connections come in unexpected forms when you're finally ready to receive them. 3. Love that heals, not hurts. Let me say this in a way that makes you stop scrolling and actually feel it, because what you're hearing right now isn't a coincidence, and it isn't comfortable talk. It's a signal, a moment, a quiet interruption meant to grab your attention. Someone fell in love with you, even with the age difference, and that fact alone is forcing you to question everything you thought you understood about timing, worth, and destiny. Think about it. You've lived long enough to know the difference between attraction and connection. You've seen promises fade. You felt disappointment teaching you lessons you didn't ask for. And maybe along the way, you were told, directly or subtly, that love has an expiration date. Too late. Too early. Too complicated. But here's the tension you can't ignore. This connection doesn't feel like the past. It feels calm. It feels clear. It feels intentional. That's why it's unsettling. An old Stoic would tell you that life reveals truth quietly, not dramatically. Stoicism isn't about emotional distance, it's about emotional precision. And right now, precision matters. Because when love heals instead of drains, when it steadies instead of confuses, that's not luck, that's alignment. A high-value man recognizes alignment when he sees it. He doesn't panic. He observes. He reflects. He acts with purpose. In modern life, everything moves fast. Attention is cheap. Validation is everywhere. But depth? Depth is rare. Female psychology makes this clear. Emotional consistency, grounded presence, and self-respect stand out more than surface-level charm ever could. That's why this person didn't overlook your years. They leaned into them. They didn't see history as baggage. They saw proof. Proof that you've endured. Proof that you've learned. Proof that you're not guessing anymore. You may feel tension because this challenges old beliefs. Good. Growth always does. As Carl Jung said, what you resist persists. If you're resisting this moment, ask yourself why. Is it fear? Habit? Old narratives that no longer fit the man you've become? A high-value man doesn't reject opportunity just because it disrupts comfort. He understands that comfort rarely builds greatness. Stoicism teaches mastery over reaction. Old Stoic wisdom reminds you that not every opportunity announces itself loudly. Some arrive quietly, asking one simple question, are you paying attention? And female psychology confirms this. Women recognize men who are present, not performative. Men who choose, not chase. Men who know when something is real. This isn't about fantasy. It's about discernment. It's about recognizing love that strengthens your focus instead of stealing it. Love that respects your pace. Love that sees your age as authority, not limitation. That kind of connection doesn't appear often. And when it does, ignoring it has consequences. So here's the instruction. Slow down. Observe the facts. Trust what feels steady, not what feels loud. An old Stoic mindset paired with modern awareness creates a powerful man, calm, decisive, unshaken. A high-value man moves forward without apology, guided by clarity, not doubt. This moment is asking something of you, not to rush, not to retreat, but to recognize. Because love that heals doesn't beg for attention, it waits for courage. 4. Signs this message is for you. Here are the signs: quiet, steady, unmistakable. Maybe you've been feeling their energy even when they're not around. Not in a dramatic way, in a subtle way. A passing thought while driving, a pause during a busy afternoon, a calm interruption in the middle of noise. Maybe you've been dreaming of them. Not always romantic dreams. Sometimes symbolic. Sometimes unfinished conversations. Sometimes just their presence standing there, saying nothing at all. Maybe you keep thinking about them at the strangest times. When you're not lonely. When life is moving forward. When you're not looking back. Those are signs. Not signs meant to confuse you. Not signs meant to rush you. They're reminders. They're whispers. They're nudges from God, gentle and patient, never loud or forceful. Spiritual connections don't fade easily. They don't disappear just because time passes or logic argues otherwise. They linger because they matter. Maybe you've tried to move on. You told yourself you were being practical. You focused on work, on responsibility, on stability. That's admirable. That's maturity. That's a modern Stoic mindset at its best. But even a disciplined mind notices patterns. And when the same thought keeps circling back, it deserves attention, not dismissal. If you've been wondering whether you should give this connection a chance, whether you should open your heart again, this message is not telling you what to do. That's important. It's telling you to listen. Pray. Ask. Pay attention to how you feel when you think of them. That feeling is data. Real data. In love psychology, emotions are signals, not weaknesses. They tell you where peace lives and where it doesn't. Be honest with yourself. Don't rush to label the feeling. Don't talk yourself out of it either. Sit with it. Let it speak. True love brings peace, not chaos. True love brings clarity, not confusion. True love makes you feel safe, not anxious. That doesn't mean it's effortless. It means it's grounded. It means your nervous system settles instead of tightening. Your thoughts slow down instead of racing. Your chest feels lighter, not heavy. That is how alignment feels. That is how God often communicates, through calm, not pressure. Age differences? Life stages? Timing concerns? Those are real. They matter. But they are not automatic barriers. Relationship goals change as men mature. At this stage of life, you're not chasing excitement. You're choosing peace. You're choosing depth. You're choosing someone who feels like home, not a performance. Be steady. Be discerning. Be open, but anchored. A modern Stoic doesn't shut down emotion. He masters it. He listens before acting. He doesn't ignore signs, but he doesn't panic over them either. That balance is wisdom. If thinking about this person brings you closer to prayer, closer to gratitude, closer to calm, that matters. If it softens you instead of hardening you, that matters. Love psychology teaches us that the right connection doesn't drain your strength. It refines it. Don't confuse familiarity with habit. Don't confuse peace with boredom. Don't confuse caution with wisdom. Ask God for clarity, not certainty. Clarity comes first. Certainty follows later. If this message resonates, it's not an order. It's an invitation to reflect, to pray, to trust that true connection, guided by God, aligns with your deepest relationship goals and your strongest self. Listen, pay attention, and move forward calm, grounded, and unafraid. 5. Handling the age difference. Let's handle the age difference with clarity, calm strength, and unshakable self-respect, because this is not about noise from the outside. It's about alignment on the inside. Any old Stoic would tell you that peace begins the moment you stop outsourcing your judgment to the crowd. Society will always have commentary. Today, it's the age gap. Tomorrow, it's your choices, your pace, your priorities. So let them talk while you stay focused. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events, and that power is what separates a grounded man from a distracted one. If this person fell in love with you across years, seasons, and experiences, then the question is not the number. It's the nature of the bond. Real connection doesn't rush, doesn't pressure, doesn't confuse. It clarifies, it steadies, it strengthens. That's where Stoicism comes alive in modern life, reminding you to judge relationships by virtue, not by gossip. Look closely through the lens of female psychology, not stereotypes, but truth. Respect creates safety, consistency creates trust, and emotional maturity creates attraction. When those are present, age becomes context, not a threat. A high value man does not ask for permission to live rightly. He evaluates, he discerns, he decides, and he owns the outcome calmly. Ask yourself direct questions and answer them honestly. Does this relationship sharpen my discipline? Does it bring order to my thoughts instead of chaos? Does it push me toward purpose rather than distraction? Seneca warned us, if a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. So know your port, know your standards, know your direction. In a world addicted to surface-level approval, choosing depth is an act of leadership. In a time where modern dating is rushed, transactional, and noisy, choosing patience is power. This is where the old Stoic mindset meets today's reality. You don't chase validation, you cultivate alignment. When love is clean, it heals. When love is honest, it builds. When love is mutual, it elevates both people. Female psychology responds to presence, not performance, and a high-value man understands that calm certainty is more persuasive than explanation. You don't need to defend what feels grounded. You don't need to explain what brings peace. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. If this connection brings you closer to who you are meant to be, then walk forward without hesitation. Age does not define character. Time does not define intention. Actions do. Choose the relationship that makes you stronger in silence, clearer in purpose, and steadier in life. That is Stoicism in action. That is old Stoic wisdom applied today. That is how a high-value man moves through modern relationships, informed by female psychology, anchored in principle, and driven by inner victory. 6. A message from God to your heart. Listen up, because this isn't just some random advice. This message is for you. It's not too late. It's right on time. Close your eyes for a moment. Let the words settle. My child, I see you. I formed you. I place desires in your heart that only I understand. Don't be afraid of the love I've sent. Test it. Pray over it. Walk slowly if you must. But don't let fear rob you of a blessing meant just for you. Take that in. Really let it sink in. Because the world is going to tell you a lot. They'll say age is an issue. They'll say differences are too big to ignore. But here's the thing. The world sees age. The world sees barriers. But God? He sees souls. Now let that thought roll around in your mind. Do you really get it? Age is just a number. The real thing? It's wisdom. It's clarity. It's the ability to see beyond the surface. And that's where you, as a man with experience, should be. You know better than to get caught up in external judgments. You've lived long enough to recognize that life is about more than what others say or think. The old Stoic mindset is vital here. It's the foundation. You've learned it over time, even if you didn't call it that. You observe life. You don't rush into things. You don't make decisions based on panic or pressure. When things get heated, you stay cool. As Marcus Aurelius said, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Take a breath. Now think about her, this love. It's not just some passing thing. It's an opportunity. Age, experience, differences, they don't matter when you apply the right lens. Stoicism isn't about ignoring emotions, it's about mastering them. And this is where you step up as the high-value man that you are. You aren't desperate for validation. You aren't chasing approval. You evaluate. You measure. You don't rush. You don't react. You lead. That's what you do. You're not making decisions in a vacuum. You're testing. You're waiting for the right alignment. Because, as Seneca said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. You've prepared. You've lived. You know how to handle this moment. So, why wait? Because a high-value man never rushes. He knows that love, true love, isn't about speed or pressure. It's about presence. It's about consistency. It's about understanding. And guess what? You've got all of that. This is your time. You've been through the storm. You've learned to master yourself. You've got the wisdom to guide you. Now all you have to do is trust. Trust in what God has planned for you. Trust in the process. Trust that you're worthy of this love, no matter how unexpected it might seem. And remember, love doesn't weaken a man like you. It only refines him. Age doesn't diminish your value. It concentrates on it. The Stoic path is your guide. The modern world is your test. And you? You've got what it takes to win. So don't hesitate. Step into the life you've been prepared for. Now is your time. 7. Practical steps to move forward. In life, love can appear when we least expect it. It's not just about emotions, it's also about wisdom, understanding, and balance. The connection you feel with this person, especially with the age difference, can be powerful, but it's essential to approach it with the right mindset. To guide you, here are a few practical steps that can help you move forward in a healthy, thoughtful way. First, take a moment to pray or meditate on this connection. Don't just seek confirmation, ask for clarity. Pray for the wisdom to see things as they are, and for the insight to know if this love is meant to grow or if it's just a chapter in your life. The journey begins with self-awareness, and this is key in any relationship. Next, you must communicate openly and honestly. Share your fears, your desires, and, just as importantly, your boundaries. Good communication is the foundation of any healthy relationship, and it's crucial for maintaining respect and trust. Don't be afraid to express yourself. Vulnerability strengthens bonds. Take things slow. Rushing through important decisions rarely leads to lasting happiness. Great things don't need to be hurried. Allow time for the connection to unfold naturally so you can better understand your feelings and whether they align with your long-term goals. You mustn't settle for temporary satisfaction when you're seeking something real and enduring. Seek the guidance of trusted mentors, spiritual advisors, or close friends. Their perspective is invaluable and will help you see things more clearly. People who want the best for you will offer advice that comes from a place of love, not judgment. Sometimes, an outside view can bring new insight into a situation you're too close to understand. And, above all, protect your peace. If at any point you feel that this connection is becoming toxic, manipulative, or unsafe, don't hesitate to step back. Remember, God's blessings never come wrapped in harm. It's crucial to remain true to yourself, even if that means letting go of something that doesn't serve you well. By following these steps, you'll be able to assess whether this love is a lesson, a season, or something that will last a lifetime. It's not just about attracting women or finding love. It's about being wise in your choices, understanding your heart, and knowing what truly matters in a relationship. These psychology tips, along with love advice and dating tips, will help guide you to the right path. Trust the process and let your wisdom lead the way. In summary, don't rush into anything without reflection. Don't let the excitement of the moment cloud your judgment. Be honest, take your time, and seek advice when you need it. This approach will help you navigate love with both passion and wisdom, attracting the right person at the right time. 8. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. Embrace your worth before anything else. Let this truth sink deep into your heart. You are complete on your own. You don't need to wait for someone else to define you or validate you. You are valuable, just as you are. In fact, you were loved by God before anyone else even knew your name. That's powerful. Your worth is not contingent upon the love or approval of another person. It's intrinsic, woven into your very being. The love psychology behind this idea is profound. True self-love doesn't depend on external factors. This person, who has come into your life, may indeed be part of your journey, but they do not define your identity. It's easy to get lost in the excitement of a new relationship, especially when there's an age difference at play. You might think that because of that difference, something about you is less than or needs to change. But that's simply not true. You are who you are, and that is more than enough. Now, when you find someone who loves you, love them if it's right. Don't let the fear of age or other differences cloud the beauty of a true connection. Cherish them deeply if what you have is genuine. That's what modern Stoic wisdom teaches us to appreciate what is good, but not to cling to it as our source of worth. Be thankful for their love, but always remember your love psychology must include the understanding that your worth is independent of someone else's feelings toward you. Age difference? It's just a number. It doesn't diminish who you are or the value you bring to the table. No one can take away your dignity, your purpose, or your soul's calling. Not now, not ever. And here's the most important part: you must never forget your own worth. Don't let anyone make you feel like you have to prove yourself, whether in relationships or in life. You've got your own goals, your own dreams, and the love you have for yourself is the foundation on which everything else builds. That is the ultimate relationship goal. Embrace who you are. You are worthy of love, respect, and happiness, not because of what someone else thinks of you, but because of who you are at your core. Your worth isn't based on an age difference or anyone else's approval. It's yours to own and protect. 9. A prayer for you right now. In a world where we often get caught up in age, status, and circumstances, God reminds us that love knows no bounds. You might be in a relationship with someone significantly younger or older than you, and that difference may feel overwhelming at times. But hear this clearly: God is always working in mysterious ways, bringing people into our lives for a reason. The question is, are you willing to listen and trust his guidance? As an old Stoic would say, he who is brave is free. To truly be a high-value man, you need to understand the power of self-control, patience, and the wisdom to know when to act and when to let go. Female psychology tells us that women value emotional intelligence, stability, and integrity. So, in a relationship, it's not about the number of years between you. It's about the connection, trust, and how you lead with your heart and mind. Embrace this divine opportunity and pray for wisdom. Dear God, thank you for the unexpected people you bring into my life. Thank you for love that transcends numbers and differences. If this connection is from you, bless it, protect it, and guide it. If it is not from you, close the door gently and lead me to what is right. Give me the courage to listen, the wisdom to discern, and the faith to trust your timing. Amen. Take control of your emotions, rely on your faith, and trust that the right connections will grow naturally. It's about mastering your life. Just like the Stoics taught us, maintain composure, lead with wisdom, and attract relationships that resonate with your true self. Life will test you, but it is through these tests that you find your strength. Step into your role as a high-value man, one who leads with wisdom, heart, and confidence. Trust the timing. It's all unfolding for a reason. Closing message. If you've made it this far, it's no accident. You're meant to hear these words. Someone, despite the age difference, has fallen in love with you. This is a moment you can't ignore. God is calling you to approach this with wisdom, courage, and an open heart. Fear has no place here. The old Stoic teachings remind us that the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. So, release the fear. Trust God's timing and approach this situation with clarity. Love is powerful. True love doesn't break you, it strengthens you. Divine love doesn't confuse you, it brings peace to your soul. It may be unconventional, but if it's meant for you, it will find a way. You must understand that love doesn't abide by numbers, nor does it measure the years between you. True love sees you for who you are, not the years you've lived or the expectations of others. You, as a high-value man, must recognize your worth in this moment. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of the rest. You have control over how you approach this, how you handle your emotions, and how you lead your life. If you trust your heart and your faith, you will see that this love is not just a coincidence. It's a blessing, an opportunity for growth, and a challenge for you to rise higher. A man is not good because of what he has, but because of what he is. So, take your time. Approach this relationship with care. Lead with strength, wisdom, and compassion. Trust God to guide your steps. You are worthy of a love that transcends age, expectations, and barriers. You are worthy of a love that sees your heart, your mind, your spirit. Embrace this divine connection and let it lead you to deeper fulfillment. Do not shy away from the extraordinary path God has set before you. Welcome to the blessing of Stoicism. Take charge of your life. Accept the wisdom it brings and let this relationship be a testament to your growth. Never forget, it's not the years that define you, but how you live them. And remember, as you walk this path, you do so with strength, conviction, and divine purpose. Keep faith, trust your heart, and let God lead the way.